Chapter 5. Miscellaneous Insurance. 1. This section deals with the so-called pure miscellaneous policies, that is, other than motor and engineering policies. These policies cover property, e.g., burglary, legal liability, and persons, e.g., personal accident. 2. Most of the policies are non-tariff and hence there may be variations in the cover provided by different insurers. The following notes therefore reflect the general approach adopted by insurers. Burglary insurance. 3. Burglary insurance is a major business in the miscellaneous class of insurance. The policy is available to commercial establishments, factories, godowns, shops etc. Property including cash, in the business premises is covered against a. Theft of property after actual forcible and violent entry into the premises or theft. Following actual, forcible and violent exit from the premises. B. Damage to insured property or premises by burglars. Cash cover operates only when the cash is secured in a safe and the cover is subject to the following two clauses. I. The loss of cash abstracted from the safe following the use of the key to the said safe or any duplicate thereof belonging to the insured is not covered unless such key has been obtained by violence or threats of violence or through means of force. This is generally known as key clause. E. A complete list of the amounts of cash in safe should be kept secure in some place other than the safe, and the liability of the insurer is limited to the amount actually shown by such records. Exclusions. I. Loss or damage where any member of the insured's household or his business staff is concerned as principal or accessory. E. Committed by any other person lawfully on the premises, wherein the property insured may happen to be, e. which can be insured against by a fire or plate glass or a motor insurance policy, IV to deeds, bonds, bills of exchange, promissory notes, cash, checks, securities for money, stamps, stamp collections, books of accounts, manuscripts, etc. Unless specially mentioned and agreed to be covered. V. Riot and strike risks, depreciation, wear and tear and consequential losses etc. The policy can be extended to cover riot, strikes and terrorism risks at extra premium. 4. The sum insured under the policy must represent full value. In the event of underinsurance, pro rata average is applied. However, where bulk commodities or heavy machinery are involved and the value is large, the sum insured can be agreed to be less than the value and pro rata average can be waived. For example, where the value is 100 lakh rupees, the sum insured can be fixed at a percentage, say 25% or 40% etc. of the value. This is known as first loss policy. This policy is issued where probability of total loss by burglary is remote. In some policies, a partial condition of pro rata average is included. Thus, if the declared value is less than the actual value at the time of loss, average is applied. Burglary policies can be issued on a declaration basis or floating basis, according to the practice in fire insurance. All risks insurance policy. 5. This policy is issued to cover valuable articles like jewelry, cameras, watches, clocks, paintings, works of art, etc. The cover is very wide and includes loss of or damage by fire, burglary, theft, or any other accidental circumstances. The main problem generally met with in granting all risks cover in respect of works of art, paintings, pictures, curios and antiques is the fixing of insurable value. The insurable value in these cases may be decided on agreed value basis after obtaining reports of professional valuers. Exclusions. A. Damage caused by any process of cleaning, dyeing, repairing or deterioration arising from wear and tear or any other gradually operating cause. B. Breakage, cracking or scratching of crockery, glass, cameras, binoculars and similar articles of brittle or fragile nature, unless caused by fire or accident to the means of conveyance. C. Loss or damage caused by mechanical or electrical derangement, breakdown of any article unless caused by accidental external means. D. Loss or damage to money, securities, manuscripts and travel tickets or traveler's checks, business books or documents. A. Theft from any car except car of fully enclosed saloon type securely locked and properly fastened. F. Any loss or damage arising through delay, detention or confiscation by customs or by other authorities. Baggage insurance. 6. The policy is designed to cover accompanied baggage, not dealer's stock or traveler's samples during specified journey, which includes air, sea, rail or road travel undertaken by the insured. The risks covered are burglary, theft or damage by accidental means. 7. The route of the journey is specified in the policy, and the cover is operative only when the insured is traveling by an accepted mode of travel on the specified route. The cover is also operative whilst the insured temporarily resides in any hotel or rest house during the specified journey. 8. Proposal form should be fully completed as regards description, contents and value of each package. Further, if jewelry, valuables and items listed in the exclusions clause are to be covered, then full description and individual values are to be provided. Exclusions. A. Occurring during routine travel. B. Articles of consumable and perishable nature. C. Loss of articles like sticks, umbrellas, etc. Property in use on the voyage or journey, articles or clothes whilst being worn or carried about. Money insurance. 9. The property covered under this policy is A. Wages in direct transit from the bank to the insured premises. B. Money other than under A above, in transit to and from insured premises, bank, post office, any other specified premises. C. Money other than A and B above, collected by the insured's employees and in transit to the premises or bank. D. Any other money in transit as may be specified. 10. The risks covered are theft, robbery and accident. On payment of additional premium, the policy may be extended to cover dishonesty of persons carrying the cash, riot, strike and terrorism risks, disbursement risk, that is lost during payment of wages to employees, etc. 11. Money unpaid wages retained in burglar-resistant safe in the insured's premises is ordinarily covered only for 48 hours after its arrival. Cover for a period in excess of 48 hours can be granted at an additional premium. 12. Money in till or on counter in the insured's premises during the insured's business hours can be covered at an additional premium, against the risk of hold-up. Hold-up is theft accompanied by violence by any person other than an employee of the insured. 13. The policy for transit specifies two amounts, I. Limit of the insurer's liability for any one loss, and E. The estimated amount in transit during the policy period. The former represents the maximum amount payable in respect of each loss. The latter represents the amount to which the rate of premium is to be applied to arrive at the amount of premium. 14. Provisional premium is charged on the estimated amount in transit and adjusted on expiry of the policy based on actual amount in transit during the policy period as declared by the insured. Exclusions. A. Shortage due to error or omission. B. Loss of cash entrusted to any person other than the insured or an employee of the insured. C. Losses due to the fraud, dishonesty of an employee of the insured. Insurers cover such losses provided they are discovered within 48 hours of their occurrence. D. Losses arising from riot, strikes and civil commotion and acts of terrorism. A. Losses occurring by the use of keys to the safe unless such keys were obtained by force or threat. F. Money carried under contract of affreightment and theft of money from unattended vehicle. Television insurance. 15. The policy covers television apparatus and antenna against loss of or damage by I. Accidental external means. E. Fire, lightning. E. Short-circuiting. I. V. Flood and storm. V. Bursting and overflowing of water tanks. V. Theft. V. Riot and strikes, and V. Earthquake, fire and shock. 16. The policy indemnifies the insured, A. Against loss of or damage to the television apparatus. B. Against all sums which he may become legally liable to pay for accidents caused by or through the television apparatus. Third-party liability. C. Against loss or damage to the property belonging to or in the custody of the insured, by breakage or collapse of the aerial fittings or mast of the apparatus so far as such property is not otherwise insured. Exclusions. A. Consequential loss, depreciation, wear and tear, failure or breakage or damage caused by normal atmospheric conditions. B. Loss or damage arising from erection, repairing or dismantling of the apparatus. C. Burning out of valves or coils, mechanical derangement. D. Mechanical or electrical breakdown, unless caused by any of the insured perils. Plate glass insurance. 17. This policy provides cover against the actual breakage of plain glass of ordinary glazing quality completely and securely fixed, by any reason whatsoever except those that are specifically excluded. The following points may be noted. A. Only actual breakage is covered. For this purpose, there has to be a fracture of the glass through its entire thickness. Superficial damage like scratching or disfiguration is not covered. B. Only plain glass of ordinary glazing quality is covered. If embossed, silvered or ornamental glass is to be covered, additional premium is required to be paid. Exclusions. A. Fire or explosion. B. Earthquake or such other convulsions of nature, and C. Riot, strikes, war and kindred risks. Riot and strikes may be covered on payment of additional premium. Neon sign insurance. 18. This insurance provides cover in respect of loss of or damage to the neon sign installation by a accidental external means, or B. Fire, lightning, external explosion or theft. Riot and strike risks are covered at extra premium. Hoardings are covered, more or less, along the same lines as neon signs. The policy excludes the following. A. The fusing or burning out of any bulbs and/or tubes arising from short-circuiting or arcing or any other mechanical or electrical defect or breakdown. B. Repair, cleaning, removal or erection, wear and tear, depreciation or deterioration. C. Damage to tubes unless the glass is fractured. D. Overrunning, overheating or strain. A. Atmospheric conditions. F. Consequential loss, however caused. G. Strikes, riot, civil commotion. Riot and strikes may be covered on payment of additional premium. Pedal cycle insurance. 19. This policy covers loss of or damage to the cycle by fire, lightning, explosion, burglary, housebreaking, theft and accidental external means. It also covers the insured's legal liability for bodily injury to third parties and for the loss of or damage to the property of third parties. The policy may be extended to cover personal accident insurance benefits on payment of additional premium. Cycle rickshaw insurance. 20. This insurance provides protection to the cycle rickshaw owners against damage to the cycle rickshaw as well as legal liability for third-party personal injury or property damage. Legal liability to passengers may also be covered. Fidelity guarantees. 21. Fidelity guarantee insurance indemnifies the employers against the financial loss suffered by them due to the specified dishonest acts of their employees. It should be noted that I. The cover granted is against a direct pecuniary loss and not consequential losses. E. The loss should be in respect of monies or goods of the insured. E. The act should be committed in the course of the duties specified for the employee concerned. 22. Fidelity guarantee policies stipulate time limit for discovery of loss. This is so because the loss can occur over a long period without discovery. Investigation of such losses would be troublesome and recoveries may become legally and practically difficult. The customary time limit provided in that the act or acts insured against should be discovered not later than 12 months after the resignation, dismissal, retirement or death of the employee, or not later than 12 months after the termination of the policy, whichever be the earlier. Types of policy. 23. A. Individual policy. This type of policy is used where only one individual is to be guaranteed. B. Collective policy, where the entire staff or a number of selected individuals are to be covered, a collective policy is issued. A collective policy comprises a schedule containing the names of the employees to whom the guarantee applies with a note of the duties of each employee. The amount of guarantee of each employee is inserted in the schedule against his name. Alterations because of additional appointments, etc., are made by an endorsement. C. Floating policy or floater. This is a variation of the collective form of contract in which the names and duties of the individuals to be covered are inserted in a schedule, but instead of individual amounts of guarantee, a specified sum of guarantee is floated over the whole group. A claim in respect of one employee will, therefore, reduce the guarantee by the amount until renewal, unless the original sum is reinstated by payment of an extra premium. A floating policy relieves the employer of the necessity of fixing what he considers to be suitable individual amounts of guarantee. However, in fixing the floating sum to be guaranteed, the employer has to ensure that the sum would be adequate against the largest possible single loss that may arise as a result of default by any one employee or more employees acting in collusion. D. Positions policy. This is similar to a collective policy with the difference that instead of using names, the position or designation is guaranteed for a specified amount, so that a change in the person holding the position does not affect the cover. It is to be noted that the liability of the insurers in respect of each position remains limited to the amount guaranteed for the position, irrespective of the number of persons acting in that position. Instead of a specified amount for each position, a single amount of guarantee for all positions may also be floated. A. Blanket policy. This policy covers the entire staff without showing names or positions. No inquiries about the employees are made by the insurers. The policy is granted only to large firms of repute. Court bonds. 24. These are bonds issued to the courts by the insurers guaranteeing proper and honest discharge of duties by the officers appointed by the courts for specified purposes. The amount of the bond is stipulated by the court. The bonds are issued as specialty contracts to be executed under seal. They may be issued for annual periods, renewable automatically after each annual expiry, or for the entire period for which the concerned officer is appointed. A counter guarantee is always obtained by the insurers from the officer in respect of whom the bond is issued. The following are some examples of court bonds. I. Administration bonds. E. Liquidators bonds. E. Receivership bonds. The other bonds issued by insurers are customs and excise bond. 25. Customs bonds are to be executed by importers in favor of the controller of imports and exports agreeing, inter alia, to perform the conditions stipulated in the import trade control regulations. Examples of importers who have to execute custom bonds are I. Persons or corporate bodies who are permitted to import motor cars for their personal use. E. Manufacturers who import essential raw materials on which a concessional customs duty is levied provided they produce an end-use certificate that the imported materials have been consumed in the production of goods originally declared by the manufacturer. Excise bonds. 26. Excise bonds are to be executed by manufacturers in respect of finished products assembled or produced in the country, which are dutiable. The excise duty is to be paid to the excise department, in lieu of which a bond may be executed. Manufacturers of alcohol, sugar, textiles, automobiles, etc., are the categories of persons that are required to execute the bond. As in administration bonds, a counter guarantee is insisted upon. The period of customs bonds may vary from a few months to as long a period as 7 years, depending upon the materials or goods imported. Hence, it is a long-term contract. Excise bonds, on the contrary, are mostly annual contracts. Jewelers' block insurance. 27. The property covered is A. Jewelry, gold or silver ornaments or plate, pearls and precious stones, material usual to the conduct of the insured business, and bank notes or scrip whilst these are in or upon premises, being carried, or are in transit by land, water or air, in India. B. Trade and office furniture, fixtures, machinery, plant and all other contents belonging to the insured, whilst the said property is in the insured business premises. In respect of the property described against item A, the insurers indemnify the insured against the loss of or damage to the insured property by any cause except those that are excluded in the policy. The property described against item B is covered only against the risk of fire, lightning, explosion, burglary, housebreaking or theft. Exclusions. Some of the more important exclusions are loss of or damage to the insured property whilst the same is being worked upon, or directly resulting from any process of cleaning, repairing or restoring. Shortage noticed at the time of stock taking. Loss of or damage to the insured property while the same is at any public exhibition. Theft or disappearance from vehicles owned by or under the control of the insured, whilst such vehicles are left unattended. Theft by or dishonesty of the insured's family member, employee, broker or customer. Loss following use of key to the safe or duplicate thereof belonging to the insured unless the same is obtained by threat or violence. Loss of or damage to insured property whilst in window display at night or whilst kept outside safes after business hours. Bankers' indemnity policy. 28. This policy provides indemnity to banks against the following contingencies. A. Loss or destruction of money and or securities by fire, burglary, theft, robbery, or hold-up, riot and strike. B. Loss by theft or misappropriation of money and or securities whilst they are in transit. The cover is operative even if the loss is caused by the negligence or fraud of the insured's officers, clerks etc. C. Direct financial loss sustained as a result of payment of fictitious, forged or raised checks. D. Dishonest or criminal acts of employees in respect of money and or securities. A. Fraud and or dishonesty of the insured's employees in respect of goods hypothecated to the insured bank, loss by robbery, theft. F. Loss by robbery, theft or other causes whilst in direct transit by registered post. G. Infidelity or criminal acts of appraisers or janata agents, or pygmy collectors. Exclusions. The policy excludes the following losses. Losses of any money and or securities due to wrongful act or default of any directors or partners of the insured, other than salaried. Trading losses. Losses attributable to faulty computer programming or fraudulent use of computer program or any other EDP system. Losses caused by earthquake, typhoon, cyclone, flood and such other convulsions of nature. Legal liability insurances. 29. There are four major legal liability policies: public liability, products liability, professional indemnities and employer's liability. The subject matter of these policies is potential legal liability towards third parties or employees, as the case may be. If legal liability is incurred, there will be financial losses in the form of damages or compensation. 30. Compulsory public liability policy. This policy is issued as per the provisions of the Public Liability Insurance Act to cover the liability of the owner to pay relief in the event of death or injury to any person arising out of an accident while handling any hazardous substances specified in the Act. 31. Public liability policy. This policy is issued on industrial and storage risks and non-industrial risks such as hotels, cinemas, offices, schools, exhibitions, permanent amusement parks, film studios, circus, zoo etc. Exclusions. Liability assumed by the insured by agreement and which would not have attached in the absence of such agreement, arising out of earthquake, flood, storm or other similar convulsions of nature. Arising out of deliberate, willful or intentional non-compliance of any statutory provision. Arising out of loss of pure financial nature such as loss of goodwill, loss of market etc. Arising out of all personal injuries such as libel, slander, etc. Infringement of plans, copyright, patent, trade name, trademark, registered design. Arising out of fines, penalties, punitive or exemplary damages or any other damages resulting from the multiplication of compensatory damages. Liability for claims arising out of the ownership, possession or use by or on behalf of the insured of any motor vehicle or trailer for which compulsory insurance is required by legislation. Transportation of materials and or hazardous dangerous substances outside the insured's premises unless specifically covered. The ownership, possession or use by or on behalf of the insured of any aircraft, watercraft or hovercraft. Damage to property owned, leased or hired or under hire, purchase or on loan to the insured or otherwise in the insured's care, custody or control. Injury to any person under a contract of employment or apprenticeship with the insured, their contractors and or subcontractors when such injury arises out of the execution of such contract. 32. The policy provides indemnity in respect of legal liability for claims for third parties for death, injury or damage to property. Liability arising out of accidental pollution can be covered on payment of extra premium. The policy is subject to limits of indemnity, any one accident, and any 1 year of insurance. 33. Products liability policy. This policy provides indemnity for legal liability for injury or damage to property arising out of defects in the products specified in the policy. Legal liability arising out of products which are exported can also be covered. Exclusions. A. Costs of repair or replacement of defective product or of recall of product. B. Claims for failure of products to fulfill their purpose. C. Product guarantee. 34. Professional indemnities. These policies are granted to A. Medical practitioners. B. Medical establishments e.g. hospitals. C. Engineers, architects and interior decorators. D. Chartered accountants, financial consultants and management consultants and A. Advocates and solicitors. Exclusions under medical indemnities. Some examples. Any act committed in violation of any law. Services rendered while under the influence of narcotics or intoxicants. Third-party liability. Claims arising from or related to acquired immune deficiency syndrome (AIDS). Cosmesis, that is, cosmetic plastic surgery, hair transplants and the like. Exclusions under chartered accountants etc. Indemnities. Some examples. Any dishonest, fraudulent, criminal or malicious act or omission. Deliberate non-compliance with technical standards commonly observed in professional practice laid down by law or regulated by official bodies. 35. These policies provide indemnity for legal liability to pay damages arising out of negligence in the performance of professional duties. For example, professional negligence by a doctor, i.e., wrong diagnosis, wrong treatments etc. may result in claims for death or injury. Professional negligence by a chartered accountant or a solicitor, e.g., wrong advice, etc. may result in claims for financial losses. 36. Workmen's compensation insurance. This policy provides indemnity to the insured in respect of his legal liability to pay compensation to his employees who sustain personal injury by accident or disease arising out of and in the course of his employment. This liability may rise under Workmen's Compensation Act, Fatal Accidents Act or common law. Exclusions. Liability to employees of contractors. Compensation for diseases mentioned in Schedule 3 of the WC Act. Both these exclusions can be covered at extra premium. Personal accident insurance. The purpose of personal accident insurance is to pay fixed compensation for death or disablement resulting from accidental bodily injury. 37. The policy provides that, if at any time during the currency of this policy, the insured shall sustain any bodily injury resulting solely and directly from accident caused by external violent and visible means, then the company shall pay to the insured or his legal personal representatives, as the case may be, the sum or sums set forth in the policy, if resulting in specified contingencies such as death, permanent disablement etc. 38. The following is a specimen table of benefits on the basis of sum insured of 1 lakh rupees selected for the purpose of illustration only of the general approach. Contingency. Amount of compensation payable. A. Death 1 rupee, i.e. 100% of capital sum insured. B. Loss of 2 limbs or both eyes or 1 limb and 1 eye. 1 rupee, i.e. 100% of capital sum insured. C. Loss of 1 limb or 1 eye 50 rupees, i.e. 50% of capital sum insured. D. Permanent total disablement other than the above, e.g. paralysis due to an accident. 100% of capital sum insured. A. Permanent partial disablement percentage is shown in the table in the policy. F. Temporary total disablement weekly payment of 1000 rupees per i.e. 1% of the capital sum insured subject to a maximum of 100 weeks. The amount of weekly payment is restricted to a maximum sum of 3000 rupees per whatever be the capital sum insured. This limit applies to all policies held by the insured. Additional benefits. 39. A. Expenses incurred for carriage of dead body of insured death due to accident only to place of residence are reimbursed subject to limits. B. In the event of death or permanent total disablement of the insured person, the policy provides for education fund for the dependent children, in addition to capital sum insured. Cumulative bonus. C. Compensation payable for death, loss of limbs or sight and permanent total disablement is increased by 5% at each renewal of policy up to a maximum of 50% of sum insured. Extensions. A personal accident policy can be extended by endorsement, on payment of extra premium to cover medical expenses incurred by the insured in connection with the accidental bodily injury, subject to specified limits. War risk cover can be granted to Indian personnel experts working in foreign countries on civilian duties at additional premium. Exclusions. Some examples. Suicide. Influence of liquor or drugs. Service in armed forces. Engaging in aviation except as passenger in licensed standard type of aircraft. Group personal accident policy. 40. Group policies are issued where there is some common relationship among the persons to be insured and a central point for the administration of the insurance scheme. Accordingly, these policies can be granted only to groups clearly following under any one of the following categories. Employer-employee relationship including dependents of the employee. Members of a registered cooperative society. Members of registered service clubs etc. Mediclaim insurances. 41. The policy provides for reimbursement of hospitalization expenses for illness suffered or accident sustained during the policy period. The policy is available to individuals and family members. The policy is also available to any group, association, or corporate body with a central administration point. Exclusions. Some examples. Pre-existing diseases. Disease contracted during first 30 days of commencement of policy. Specified diseases e.g. cataract, hernia, etc. During first year of policy. Cost of spectacles, contact lenses, hearing aids. Venereal diseases, AIDS. Pregnancy, childbirth. 42. Overseas medical policy provides for payment of medical expenses for illness, accident during overseas travel for business, official or holiday purposes. Package policies. Package policies offer a combination of different covers. Some examples are provided. Householders insurance. 43. The policy is comprised of 10 sections. Section 1. Loss of or damage to the buildings and contents, excluding money and valuables whilst contained in the insured premises by fire and allied perils. Section 2. Loss of or damage to contents, excluding money and valuables whilst contained in the insured premises by burglary, housebreaking including larceny and theft. Section 3. Loss of or damage to jewelry and valuables caused by accident or misfortune, whilst anywhere in India. Section 4. Loss of or damage to fixed plate glass by accidental means. Section 5. Unforeseen and sudden physical damage caused by mechanical or electrical breakdowns of domestic electrical, electronic or mechanical appliances. Section 6. Loss of or damage to television apparatus including VCR, VCP whilst contained in insured premises. Section 7. Loss of or damage to pedal cycles and legal liability to third parties. Section 8. Loss of or damage to personal baggage due to accident or misfortune whilst traveling anywhere in India. Section 9. Personal accident insurance for insured, his spouse and children as per personal accident insurance practice. Section 10A. Legal liability of the insured in respect of accidental death or bodily injury to third party through fault or negligence of insured family members. B. Legal liability as per WC Act common law towards employees. Note: Section 1 is compulsory, with option for other covers. Shopkeepers insurance. 44. The policy is designed for small shopkeepers. The policy is comprised of 10 sections. Section 1. Loss or damage to A. Building, B. Contents, excluding money and valuables whilst contained in insured premises by fire and allied perils. Section 2. Loss of or damage to contents, excluding money and valuables whilst contained in the premises by burglary and housebreaking. No theft risk is covered. Section 3A. Loss of money in transit due to accident misfortune. B. Loss of or damage to money, valuables by burglary, housebreaking whilst contained in a burglar-proof safe. C. Loss of money whilst lying in cashier's till and or counter in insured's premises by burglary, housebreaking or following assault, violence on insured or his employees. Section 4. Loss of or damage to pedal cycles and legal liability to third parties. Section 5. Loss of or damage to fixed plate glass in the insured premises. Section 6. Loss of or damage to neon sign, glow sign by A. Accidental external means. B. Fire, lightning or external explosion. C. Theft. D. Riot, strike, malicious act. Section 7. Loss of or damage to personal baggage of insured or baggage in connection with trade, anywhere in India. Section 8. Personal accident cover for insured, his employees as per peer practice. Section 9. Direct pecuniary loss suffered by the insured due to fraud or dishonesty committed by any salaried employees. Section 10A. Legal liability in respect of accidental death or bodily injury to a third party or accidental damage to their property during performance of any act in connection with the insured's business. B. Legal liability to employees under WC Act common law. Rural insurance. Some examples of major policies are provided. Livestock. 45. Policies are designed to provide for death due to accident or disease of the following: cattle, sheep and goat, workhorses, camels, elephants, rabbits, etc., poultry, etc., shrimp, prawns, silkworm, honey bee, accident risk, property insurance. Some examples. 46. Horticulture crops e.g., grapes, citrus, etc., and plantation crops e.g., rubber, oil palm etc., are covered against loss or damage to the insured tree crops by specified perils like fire, storm, flood, riot, etc. 47. Agricultural pump set policy covers unforeseen and sudden physical damage by specified perils such as fire, riot, strike, burglary, mechanical, electrical breakdown, etc. 48. Failed well insurance provides indemnity for civil construction if the well fails to yield specified quantity of water. 49. Salt works policy covers damage to earthwork and salt on platforms by storm, flood and unseasonal rainfall.